Part 5. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 41. What the hell are you talking about, canned pork? This thing smells so good, can I taste it? I have eaten this brand of canned food from relatives, it is delicious but difficult to buy, only those big supply and marketing cooperatives can sell it. No, the factory wants to. Luncheon meat as a benefit for us. The crowd was excited. Especially the workers who have tasted the taste of luncheon meat. It's so exciting. Deputy Director Lee is a good man. I will bring this delicious luncheon meat back to entertain guests. There are more noodles. I heard that this kind of canned food is in short supply. Even if it is a large supply and marketing cooperative, it will be gone late. No, I must support Deputy Director Lee to include canned pork in the purchase list. I didn't eat canned food, and I watched the workers who ate it with their mouths full of oil. Smelling the smell of meat in the air. That mind is more direct. Why can they eat it? I can't, I want to eat it too. For a while, the crowd was full of voices, all talking about canned pork, and they all wanted to add such a dish to their future meals. Deputy Director Lee happened to pass by with the leaders of the factory. Hearing the demands of the workers, how can you not understand? The director of the factory spoke. In that case, let's put canned pork on the purchase list. For the welfare of workers, Deputy Factory Director Lee, you did a good job. He is the director of the factory, and the purchase quota of 2,000 yuan a month is really not in his eyes. If you lose the hearts of the people for this 2,000 yuan, it will be a big loss. A few people who don't deal with Deputy Director Lee saw this scene. The face is gloomy. The factory director has spoken, and things are like this. Can they still go against the current? They talk, and they also have guns and sticks. Deputy Factory Director, you have made a great move. I really didn't expect that the Deputy Director had such a clever plan. Deputy Director Lee smiled, as if he didn't understand the sarcasm in their words. Everywhere, I didn't do what I could, and I did something insignificant. The truly great and commendable will always be the great worker. Several leaders turned green with anger and walked away. Deputy Director Lee smiled. With his hands behind his back, he looked in the direction of Zhou Jingming. Naturally, he couldn't see Zhou Jingming. Zhou Jingming has been overwhelmed by the crowd. Good boy, you've helped me a lot. Don't worry, your benefits will be indispensable in the future. Under the active promotion of Deputy Director Lee, the contract for the purchase of canned food came down on the same day. The purchase of canned food is the sole responsibility of Zhou Jingming. A special fund of 2,000 is allocated every month. Zhou Jingming also became the first special acquirer who was obviously a first class but had a special purchase fund of 2,000 per month. The moment he signed the contract, he did. The system gives a prompt. Ding. Congratulations. You've got a critical hit, you've got 5,000*300 canned pork. You triggered a lucky blow and got one modern canning plant and one modern pork canning production line. Note, factories and production lines can be upgraded as the production of cans increases. Zhou Jingming is a good guy directly. I suddenly felt that my efforts were not in vain. In the space, a canning production plant rises from the ground. It is said to be a modern factory, but in his eyes, it is more advanced than the latest factory of the era he has passed through. The main body is a white building, full of science and technology. It covers an area of 50 acres of land and adopts full automation. Even if there is only one pork production line now. It also shows the scientific and technological content. Zhou Jingming's grasp of the system space is comprehensive, like an omnipotent god. The moment this factory appeared, all the information about it was instantly grasped. In fact, the system produces extraordinary products. This factory, even if there is only one pork production line, as long as he has a thought, Coupled with sufficient raw materials, we can produce 1.5 million canned pork per day. After the completion of the monthly purchase, there will be a variety of other production lines such as fish, chicken, vegetables, fruits, etc. That's not too cool. Jingming, congratulations. Lu Xiaoyi hasn't left yet, and she has witnessed everything. She originally wanted to help Zhou Jingming complete a 2000 acquisition. Zhou Jingming made this a long-term acquisition. What kind of ability is this? I'm going to go back and tell my dad about it. Dad will definitely praise it. As for herself, women naturally worship the strong. I love a man who has the ability. Zhou Jingming is happy, can he not be happy? Xiaoyi, I have to thank you, you are really my lucky star. Zhou Xiaoyi's identity as a lucky star is confirmed, with her, there is really a lucky blow. Lu Xiaoyi was looked at by Zhou Jingming's eager eyes, and her face was red. Where? I didn't help at all, you fought for it yourself. Lu Xiaoyi would be mistaken, thinking that what Zhou Jingming said was that she helped match the bridge. She didn't dare to take credit. Zhou Jingming didn't mean to explain. The existence of the system is something that he can never explain. Let's just let her misunderstand. Just know it in your heart. Tomorrow is a holiday, will you go to my place for dinner? Zhou Jingming invited. Lu Xiaoyi was dizzy. Going to eat? Going to his house? Isn't he the only one? Of lonely men and widows. Lu Xiaoyi's face became redder and redder, and she became more and more red. 2. It's too fast. I'm going back and ask my parents. They'll definitely agree. After Lu Xiaoyi finished speaking, she rushed out shyly. He, young man, it's really enviable. Lao Li had just withdrawn from the state of social impairment, looked at Zhou Jingming with appreciation, and gave a thumbs up. Jingming, you're really good. Whatever you do in the future, Deputy Director Li will definitely have to stand behind you. Lao Li still knows a lot about this nephew of his family, although he has some problems with his intestines. The city is very deep, but in the general direction, it is still very good. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come to the door. Zhou Jingming's Tianxiu operation, in addition to getting a long-term canned food order, also completely pulled Deputy Director Li into their camp. That's wonderful. I can't help but I don't admire him. In the acquisition department, the 2 third-level acquirers have not yet left. They saw that Zhou Jingming had really made this acquisition. His face was gloomy. Especially one of the acquirers with high cheekbones, triangular eyes, and a sharpened tip. Smiled coldly and said ill-intentionedly. Boy, I advise you not to be too arrogant. He said. There are some things, it's better to follow the rules, but don't let people cut them. After speaking, the triangular eyes glared at Zhou Jingming fiercely. The crab walked out rampantly, and he didn't even say hello to Lao Li. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 42. Zhou Jingming now has a keen 5 senses and has a natural defense mechanism against hostility. The threat of this third-level acquirer aroused his alarm. He threatened to be different from Heyuzhu, the simple man in the courtyard, and the real villain Su Daimao. With a sinister poison from the bones. Like a poisonous snake waiting for an opportunity to hurt people. Always ready to strike a fatal blow. The threat of this kind of person will definitely not be untargeted. Uncle Li, where did he come from? Uncle Li snorted, and there was disdain for this person in his voice. But there was jealousy in his eyes. If you don't ask, I'll remind you too. This person's name is Gao Xiangrong, and he is the distant nephew of Deputy Director Gao, he said. I used to be a bastard, I injured people in a fight, and I was fished out by the senior deputy factory director. He said. I went to the acquisition department as an acquirer. He said. But he does not change his nature, and he does everything he can internally, and he uses force to oppress others. Malicious scramble for acquisition orders. Externally, he is followed by a group of people who specialize in buying at a low price, he said. If the peasants are not convinced, they will fight. Good guys, this is too arrogant. No one reported it? Of course there is, but I was pressed down by the senior deputy factory director. He said. Deputy Director Gao and Deputy Director Li are different, they have been in the rolling mill for 30 years, and they have deep roots. In short, Jingming, pay attention in the future, don't put the handle in the hands of this Gao Xiangrong. Otherwise, he can put you to death. Zhou Jingming nodded, indicating understanding. Deputy Director Gao and Deputy Director Li do not deal with each other. His actions today can be regarded as standing in line with Deputy Director Li with a clear banner. The Deputy Director of the senior factory is afraid that he remembers him. There's no way he's going to end up in person. We'll only send Gao Xiangrong to deal with him. Zhou Jingming couldn't help but sigh. No matter what era it is not easy for the grassroots to rise. He has to stick to the first and second level acquirers, so naturally he can't threaten them. But if he wants to go up and upgrade the level of acquisition, he will definitely have to squeeze them out. Level 3, Level 4 acquirer, a total of only 4 places. If Zhou Jingming wants to go up, they will definitely have to go down. Uncle, I'll be careful. I'm off work, I'll go back first. Okay, these 10 caddies of fat pork, uncle, I will be disrespectful. Zhou Jingming came out of the purchasing department. I went to the vegetable market and took a turn. When I came back, in his hand, he carried a black fish, 2 caddies of pork, and a bag of fine white noodles. And potatoes and onions. On the way, many workers who came home from work saw him and greeted him warmly. You're really in the limelight today, you're really capable. Jingming, you're back, congratulations. Good food today. If you have extra canned food in the future, can you give me 2 evenly, I'll exchange the meat ticket for it. Everyone is envious. Today, Zhou Jingming's voice. A monthly purchase quota of 2,000 canned food was reached. Anyone who has a little brain, knows that he will definitely be promoted. How can you not be enthusiastic? In case the future man factory sent some canned food to him. It's good to get some out of him. They are all people with brains. It doesn't matter if people's hearts hope that you will be unlucky. But on the surface, it will certainly not be revealed. When I passed by the second courtyard, I happened to meet the chubby Mrs. Chia. Mrs. Chia is usually delicious, and she can't stand it, so she always drives Qin Huiru to Heizhi to ask for something to eat. Now I see Zhou Jingming coming back with fish and meat. Thinking about who was cooking meat yesterday, the smell was. She was so hungry that she didn't sleep all night. When I saw the fish in Zhou Jingming's hand today, my eyes suddenly lit up. Wiping the clam horn, come over and said almost. Zhou, why do you buy so much fish? Are you alone, can you eat? Why don't you give a little bit to my family, and let my wife and the stick terrier try it? She had just licked her cheek and said these words. The stick terrier rushed out of the house. He was afraid of Zhou Jingming, but he relied on his grandmother's presence. Hiding beside Jia Zhang's side and shouting. Grandma, we don't want his stuff. He's a badass. He threw on me. Mrs. Jia listened, this is okay. Let go on the spot, arched his head and bumped into Zhou Jingming. Okay, you kill 1,000 knives, you dare to splash my grandson with dung. You don't want to die. In the morning, Qin Huiru entered the house with a stick stalk covered in feces and urine. Jia Zhang pinched his nose and took a few steps back. The eyes are disgusted. Standing far away and chattering. Qin Huiru ignored her, and after cleaning up the stick stalks, she went to work. Jia Zhang asked the stick terrier again, and the stick terrier refused to say that he had lost such a big person. So she didn't know what had happened in the morning. She's a messy mother-in-law. Now it's even more biased to listen and believe. Just take out her ability to play tricks. It is necessary for Zhou Jingming to give her a little compensation. It's better to compensate him for all the fish and meat in his hands. I also want to bite him to death, let him supply his own family, bring vegetables and meat to his own house. Zhou Jingming met Mrs. Chia. I feel very unlucky. This old pious woman is not a thing. Every day, she and the stick terrier enjoy white flour steamed buns and xiaodang and huihua eat waodu. If you want something delicious, it's also to eat it with her and the stick terrier. Xiaodang and huihua watched, waiting to lick the plate. Such an old thing, this is the case for his own grandchildren. Not to mention to others, can you have one? Zhou Jingming understood as soon as he heard it, this old woman was going to slander him. Lie on top of her and suck blood. He can slap Su Daimao and he Yajafadli, but to this old woman. You must not do it. Not to mention that he will beat it, this old woman can't stand it. Just say that as long as he does it. Regardless of whether it is justified or not, if it spreads, it will be notorious for bullying the elderly. At this age, reputation is more important than life. So when he saw Jia Zhang's collision coming, he dodged lightly. Jia Zhang's worked hard this time. Didn't hit anyone. I slipped under my feet and fell into the snow. Just sit in the snow and shoot the snow and cry. Let's take a look and judge it. He said. Beat people, beat people, this bad heart, actually beat me an old woman. I been injured, get me to the hospital. The stick terrier also ran over, hugging Jia Zhang's and crying. The big bad guy in the backyard beats my grandma. Woo woo, I'm going to call someone from the police station to arrest you. Jia Zhang's hissing is very penetrating, and there is a stick terrier crying here. Quite a few people walked into this courtyard. As soon as he saw this posture, he stood aside calmly, and did not mean to help. What is the mother-in-law of the Jia family doing? Every day, she's going to do a lot. It was also said that Ren Xiaozhou beat people, and Ren Xiaozhou slipped away from her with vegetables. I can't believe the words of this kid. At a young age, he is used to deceiving people. Jia Zhang howled, and found that everyone's reaction was different from what she imagined, and she was immediately stunned. An aunt is a kind person, and she witnessed what happened. To be fair. Okay, Jia family, Ren Xiaozhou didn't touch you at all. You can't afford to ask for something for someone, and it's good that your stick stock didn't splash it with dung in the morning, and people didn't care about you. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 43. An ant spoke up righteously, and Jia Zhang's face was blue and red for a while. Got up from the ground neatly. The mouth pouted, and the eyes squinted at an ant. There was undisguised contempt in the tone. What am I going to do? Can you take care of it? It's so nosy. No wonder you can't give birth to a handle in your life. Whoa. Good grandson, let's go back to the house. Seeing that there was no benefit, Mrs. Jia took the stick and walked to the house. Stick terrier. turned around and grimaced at Zhou Jingming triumphantly. I took a sip of it. It's really old and bad. The upper beam is not correct and the lower beam is crooked. Aunt Yi was scolded by Mrs. Jia so much that she was angry, and her face was flushed. Having no way out of her knees has always been her heart disease. Standing with Mrs. Jia, she was half a cut shorter. After all, in this era, if there is no queen, it is extinct. No matter how rich you are also looked down upon. Is now scolded by Mrs. Jia with her face, which is equivalent to revealing her most heart-wrenching thing. Angry and sad for a while. But she has a gentle personality, and she definitely can't do the act of a shrew scolding the street. This Jia family's. The mouth is also poisoned with some. After saying that, she planned to enter the house and stay there for a while. Aunt Yi. Zhou Jingming called out to her. Hey, Ming, what's the matter? Thank you for speaking for me, otherwise, I'm afraid I'm in trouble. Whatever I said, I told the truth. Aunt Yi, if you don't dislike it, you can take this fish and eat it. Zhou Jingming handed the black fish over. An aunt's family relies on Yi Zonghai's salary, and it is said that they are living a good life. In reality, this is not the case. I don't know if Yi Zonghai is thrifty or what. The wages are high, but there is little land to buy meat and fish. The usual food is stick noodles and Chinese cabbage. An aunt is also short of meat to eat, but she rejected Zhou Jingming. Ming, there is no shortage of food and drink for an aunt, but you, who are young and growing your body, have to eat better. Come, it's freezing outside, come inside and get warm. An aunt looked at Zhou Jingming, and the more she looked at it, the more she liked it. If you have a baby, you will almost reach this age. Zhou Jingming looked at the kind face of an aunt and couldn't help sighing. Aunt Yi is one of the few good people in the entire compound. Usually don't say much, don't provoke trouble, serve the deaf old lady, and have no complaints. It's a pity that she didn't have a good life and married Yi Zonghai. On the surface, Yi Zonghai is an 8th level fitter. Whether in the factory or in the compound, he has a certain status. The salary is high again. But he never divorced her. She admits it, so even though it's... She also turned a blind eye, always feeling that everything was her fault. Actually, Yi Zonghai doesn't leave her, he has his own plans. In this regard, the entire compound, and even the entire rolling mill, who does not value love and righteousness for him. Don't abandon the wife of the chaff and praise it, and be respected. Yi Zonghai enjoys the benefits of fame. Covered with affection and righteousness. Privately. But it is a male thief and a female prostitute. Zhou Jingming is very sympathetic to an aunt. An aunt has suffered all her life. In this era, the harm caused by the inability to have children is unimaginable in the era of relaxation and openness in later generations. Judging by the appearance of the stick terrier, an aunt may really not be able to have children. But she really shouldn't be used by Yi Zonghai for a lifetime. Zhou Jingming had a plan. If he crit the medicine for infertility in the future, he would give this hard-working man a copy. Of course, you must not let an aunt give birth to Yi Zonghai. At least, an aunt wants to find an old wife who really cares about her and loves her. Zhou Jingming followed his aunt into the house. This one goes in. People were stunned. The treasure eye suddenly activated. Jianbeiyan has also been frequently launched in Lu Xiaoye's house. But in other places, it's not moving. Now in the house of an aunt, it is activated again. At first glance, there are no good things in the house. In the corner of the wall, there is a large black cabinet with paint off, and on top of the cabinet, there are 2 heavy black boxes. The bed was also split off the toothboard above, leaving only the bedboard, 4 stands, and mosquito nets. Then, there are 4 black paint off ring chairs. These inconspicuous-looking things, modeled with paint. In these years, it is not enough for people to take a closer look. But in Zhou Jingming's eyes, they show their original face and original value. Rosewood microphylla. It's all small leaf red sandalwood furniture. A circle chair will be auctioned for future generations, at least a few million. And the double open top cabinet has to be sold for at least 9,000. The bed is even more powerful, the whole board of materials. If the tooth plate is not cut off, the value can reach billions. Even if there is a board left now, it will be worth hundreds of millions. This set, even now, if you want to sell it, it can sell for tens of thousands. Zhou Jingming was stunned. I never thought that an ant would be an invisible rich man. What a surprise. In these years, although it is special, there is no shortage of people who know the goods. It's just that who would have thought that there would be such good things in such an ordinary courtyard? In fact, if Zhou Jingming didn't have an eye for treasures, he would just glance at these things. It's because these things look so inconspicuous. The exterior is covered with a thick black lacquer that conceals their true faces. The mottled black paint made them look even more tattered. I'm afraid that the real experts will come and return disappointed. Aunt Yi, your family. It used to be quite wealthy, right? Only then did Zhou Jingming understand where the indifference and the completely different temperament from the women in the market came from. That's all in the past. A desolate look flashed in an aunt's eyes. No matter how prominent the ancestors were, in her generation, they came to an end and became extinct. Auntie, can you tell me about it? I'm quite interested in the past. An aunt readily agreed. Hey, there's nothing that can't be said. I'm very happy that you're willing to chat with me, an old woman. As soon as the aunt said, she told the old story. Zhou Jingming really guessed correctly, an aunt is from a good background. The ancestors were very prominent, and there was even a of first-class masters. But it's a pity that the heirs are thin, and when it reaches the parents of an aunt, she loses a daughter. In her generation, there are no sons and half-daughters. If you want to talk about people's lives, what about both wealth and wealth? He said. It's better to have your children and grandchildren around your knees. I'm here, I admit it. Aunt Yi is over 100 years old, she can't afford to struggle, and she doesn't want to struggle anymore. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 44. In Jia's house. Jia Zhang's cursing never stopped. Damn, something. Isn't it just a little broken fish and rotten meat, who is rare? You deserve to be so old, and you're still beating singles. And that he's something, she's old, and she hasn't jumped out of her ass. A good man who sees the sky. I think she should be. Then Yi Zonghai, what if she is an 8th level fitter, the salary is quite high, what do you buy for her to eat and drink? Guarding such an old hen that doesn't lay eggs, I don't know what to do. Jia Zhang's scolding was ugly, which made Qin Huiru, who had just gotten off work, frown. Mom, don't say a word. Aunt Renai, I inquired, it wasn't simple when I was young, I seemed to be a young lady of a family. People are not bad for the uncle's food and clothing, and he has a lot of money in his hands. Speaking of this, Qin Huiru's brows furrowed again. Can't say what I'm thinking about. She has no children and no daughters, which is not a bad thing for us. What? Jia Zhang didn't hear clearly. In short, it will be good for us to let the stick terrier get closer to her in the future. Jia Zhang's most hated is an ant. Because she stood with an ant, she was invisibly shorter. In this compound, everyone likes an ant. But when I saw her, I was afraid to avoid it. What she is most proud of is that an ant can't give birth, no matter how rich she is, she can't give birth. If she can't give birth, it is the original sin, and she can laugh at it wantonly. Now, ask her good grandson to get close to the person she hates the most. She walked over as if she had been stung by a wasp, and poked Qin Huiru's forehead with her finger menacingly. You're not mistaken, are you? Let my good grandson get close to her. Don't come back with a bad luck for me and affect my Geo family. Qin Huiru was poked and irritable. This old blind bastard, she knows anything, she doesn't have any heart at all. She inquired really. An ant married Yi Zonghai back then, it was a marriage, and the dowry alone can make people blush. She also occasionally inquired about Yi Zonghai. This old woman has ancestral property and several courtyard houses in her hands. It's a pity that she hides all these things well. Even Yi Zonghai doesn't know where to hide. Let the stick terrier be close to her, she is a lonely and miserable, and there is a child who can be a grandchild to run in front of her. It's hard to guarantee that she won't empathize, and she will be old in the future. Looking for them to support the elderly, those things, aren't they naturally her Geo family? Otherwise, why would she marry in, close to an uncle and an aunt? And I looked at the stick terrier. She said, Terrier, go to Aunt Yi's house more in the future, send some things, and chat with her. The stick terrier was rummaging through the cabinets looking for something to eat, and heard his mother's words. My eyes are about to roll to the sky. I don't. That old woman is a nuisance, and today she said I was pouring on that big villain. An ant usually gives the stick terrier to eat. But the stick terrier forgot it all. On the contrary, because an ant spoke to Zhou Jingming, he shook out what he did in the morning, and he held a grudge against an ant. Qin Huiru sighed. Forget it, it's not difficult for the child, anyway, it's always in a courtyard, she is still young, even 10 years younger than her mother-in-law. I don't know when I'm leaving. Mom, I'll go see if the stupid pillar has anything to eat. The stick terrier didn't rummage over things at home, and ran outside like a fly. Mrs. Geo felt puzzled, opened the curtain and looked at the door and window. Zhou Jingming was talking and laughing with an ant. Smacked again. This dead father and mother, no father and mother, do you plan to honor Yi's family? Qin Huiru's busy hand stopped. A sense of alarm rose in my heart. Did Zhou Jingming discover the identity of an ant? No, no. No, it shouldn't be possible. His family moved in later, and not long after moving in, his father died on the battlefield. He was only 10 years old at the time. His mother dragged him to adulthood and died. It is impossible for him to know the situation of an ant. It was she who had only heard about it from Yi Zonghai at first. I didn't believe it, and I struggled to ask from the mouths of some old people. I heard some clues. The old ones who knew about this were almost dead. Qin Huiru thought of this and felt at ease. The hands continue to be busy. Aunt Yi is kind-hearted and easy to help people. I'm afraid she helped Zhou Jingming, so he went in and sat down. I have to say that Qin Huiru is quite smart. Guess everything. But she didn't expect it for a long time, and she only guessed the beginning. Thinking of Zhou Jingming. Qin Huiru wiped his hands with a rag. And Mom, don't trouble Jingming in the future, he completed a long-term acquisition contract of 2,000 quotas today, and it is a matter of time before he is promoted to a second-level acquirer. Jia Zhang's heard the purchase amount of 2,000 yuan. Again and again. Good boy, 2,000, so much. I can't count how much I can count on my fingers. It would be nice if it was given to her. Qin Huiru is angry and funny. The 2,000 quota is for reconciliation, not for him. She changed her words. Second level acquirer, salary 56. Jia Zhang exclaimed, so high. It's higher than my Dongsu upgrade to a third level worker. Third level workers, the salary is 44, and 12 yuan less. 12 pieces, can pull a good cloth, make a good set of clothes. Yes, the level 2 acquirer is not only highly paid, but also fat, and he doesn't have to worry about eating and drinking when he peeks out from between his fingers. If his father is a martyr, can such a good errand be his turn? How many people squeezed their heads? Hearing Qin Huiru say this, the two little eyes squeezed on Jia Zhang's fat face turned around. Poked Qin Huiru with his arm crutches. Hey, you introduced your country cousin, the one named Jing or something, to him. If you become a relative, won't you be able to enjoy this benefit together? Jia Zhang came up with a self-righteous bad idea. Qin Huiru's face sank. Her cousin, she understands. If she really follows Zhou Jingming, I am afraid that she will not be given any benefit. But the scene of Lu Xiaoyi getting off the car in the morning and running to Zhou Jingming suddenly appeared in front of me. It's all women, how can you not know that Lu Xiaoyi is already interested in Zhou Jingming? Zhou Jingming. He will definitely have a good future in the future. If he is promoted to the 3rd or even 4th level acquirer, it will be a smooth progress. Look at the way the two of them talk intimately. Forget it, it's cheaper for her cousin. Okay, I'll go back to my hometown in 2 days and bring her over. But whether it succeeds or not depends on their own creation. After Qin Huiru finished speaking, he began to light a fire and cook. But I couldn't help but have a question in my heart. It's strange, why hasn't Jia Dongxiu come back yet? It's been more than an hour since he got off work. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 45. In the house of an ant, Zhou Jingming has already left. An ant had a lot of smiles on her face. What a good boy, specially to make my wife happy. Aunt Yi was originally very sympathetic to Zhou Jingming, and wanted to help him many times, but was stopped by Yi Zonghai. But this kid not only has no jealousy, but also rarely cares about him with a pure heart. This kid is really one by one, better than all the young people in the compound. It's a pity that my life is not good, so I early. Zhou Jingming is young and has no parents. What about her? This is the case again. Emotionally, an ant is biased towards Zhou Jingming. Squeak. The door opened, and an uncle entered the house, took off his cotton clothes and hung them up. I went back and took the cotton clothes from the stick terrier family and washed them. What happened to them in other people's houses? An uncle said, but he didn't hear an answer from an ant. When I turned around, I saw the smile on my aunt's face. I saw the big black fish in the basin in the corner of the wall. His face changed slightly. Who's coming? Send the fish back. I'm telling you, don't have contact with other people in the hospital. If Yi Zonghai usually says this, Aunt Yi has no opinion, so she should respond. But this fish was given by Zhou Jingming. Naturally, if you refuse to send it back, what kind of words are you like? The child must not be sad. This fish was brought by Jingming, it is big and fat, I plan to make it and eat it at night to improve the diet. Zhou Jingming. Uncle Yi's face is even worse. This week, Jingming silently provoked his authority at a meeting in the compound. Forget it, he can still endure it. But he shouldn't. He shouldn't splash dung on the stick terrier. In this winter, what should I do if my child is frozen out of something? What a hard heart. He sat down and said bitterly. This young man is young, but he is not right-minded. In the morning, I bullied a child like that, but I didn't regret it at all. Also, his methods are also disgraceful, using workers to put pressure on the leaders above, and insisting on getting him an acquisition quota of 2,000,000. He said, "This kind of person is bad from the root when he is young. This fish, we can't accept him, eat people with short mouths and soft hands. What do he want us to help in the future? Shall we help, or will we not help?" I have to say that Yi Zonghai is really good at lobbying. These words are said without leakage. It's easy to fool people. And Yi glanced at Yi Zonghai. The speech is soft, but very clear. Everyone has seen what happened in the morning, and it's obvious that the kid is biased. I was splashed with dung, no wonder Jingming. As for the things in the factory, I don't understand, but if it really doesn't follow the rules, the huge factory can't be left to him. I took this fish and sent it back. It was a slap in the face. If you don't like it, then don't eat this fish, just let me eat it. Yi Zonghai's face sank again, and a dark light flashed in his eyes. He had an honest and gentle smile on his face. All right, just this time. Fish, eat it, eat it. But the kid, who is a terrier, as I know, doesn't have any bad intentions, it's just a little skinny. I also asked when I entered the door just now, and it was Su Daimao who taught him to do this with 2 yuan. This Su Daimao is really, how can he teach children this? And Yi didn't speak, non-committal. Anyway, that terrier is a white-eyed wolf, and she can't get close. Although she didn't care about the food, she didn't want to feed it into the belly of such a child. Who knows if he will hurt people when he grows up? An uncle has been observing an ant. Look at her not expressing her position, not showing her face. Said tentatively. Xiao He, I'm going to get a little trouble when I repair and roll steel. He said. Chances are, this rolling mill broke me. He said. Can you bring me a piece of your old jade and let me dredge it? And Yi said. I can't help you with this. As you know, my family has declined to the point of my generation. Where is there any gold, jade? Even if there is, I have called some distant nephews to go over the years. Yi Zonghai heard that his aunt rejected himself and mentioned the events of the year. When you first married me, your dowry, but there were 3 major cabinets of jewels, all gone. He didn't believe it at all. An aunt looked up at him. Lao Yi, that's the last bit of decency in my family, those jewels are all fake. My parents are afraid that others will laugh at me, so I will show it to others, and you still take it seriously. Yi Zonghai was in a hurry. And your ancestral home, how many courtyard houses? Aunt laughed. If I had that, why would I be in this courtyard with you? An aunt stood up, wiped her hand on her jacket twice, and went to clean up the black fish, disemboweling and taking out the intestines, scraping the scales and removing the gills, and taking the meat and slicing it. This fish is really good, it's so fat, it smells fragrant, and today our old couple is blessed. Yi Zonghai watched his aunt busy with work behind him. Water can almost drip from the face. There really isn't any of those things. He was deceived for 30 years? No, it's impossible, such a big family, the ancestors were once wealthy. It is impossible to leave nothing left. But he kind of believed that he had really been deceived. An aunt can't give birth. Before he married her, he made it clear a long time ago. He is still married. What he wants, isn't he just looking at the ancestral property of the He family? But the He family is actually an empty shell. For so many years, an aunt has followed him to live a hard life, and she has never seen her touch any gold and silver. Not to mention taking the deed out of the estate. He asked him to rummage through all the broken boxes and rotten cabinets at home, and he didn't see a single hair. In the most difficult years, the winter was cold, and the 2 of them were shivering from the cold. He dismantled the toothboard and foot pedal of the stepping bed and made a fire. She didn't say a word, and let him disassemble it. If it weren't for the fact that there really isn't it wouldn't have been able to suffer like this. Thinking of this, Yi Zonghai rose up with a sense of anger at being deceived. But he quickly put the anger down. Anyway, he's been putting up with it for so many years. Even though this ant really doesn't have any family background, at least he can continue to set a moral benchmark for him. As for whether she has children or not, he. The water is cold, and my hands are frozen carefully. Uncle Yi said words of concern, but he didn't have any intention of helping. After the fish is cooked, take the fish meat and fish soup, pick the one with few spines, and give a bowl to the deaf old lady. Uncle Yi said again. This time, an ant responded, "Hey. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Siheyuan, God Level Purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 46. Zhou Jingming went back to the house, lit the stove, put the pot, added water, and then put the processed meat slices into the water. Huh, you put the meat slices in without burning the oil. Coming back from an aunt's house, Zhou Jingming always felt that something was wrong. There is an inexplicable uneasiness. It stands to reason that he would not make such a low-level mistake now, but he made it. Lu Xiaoyi left the purchasing department and was about to get home. An important thing suddenly came to mind. I was in a hurry just now, and I forgot to give the acquisition contract to Jingming. The contract for the purchase of the cannery was in her bag. After Zhou Jingming signed an acquisition contract with the factory, she and the cannery driver returned to the canning factory to find a long-term acquisition contract drawn up by the director of the factory. At that time, Director Wan also teased her for being more anxious than Zhou Jingming. She originally planned to give it to Zhou Jingming when they met, but she didn't want him to suddenly invite her to his house as a guest. She was so excited that she forgot about. It's getting late now, why don't you go over tomorrow and give it to him? No, no. Tomorrow I will go over for dinner, and if I give him the contract at that time, with his personality, he will definitely pull me to discuss the acquisition. Let's go now, and make him happy. Lu Xiaoyi thought, turned around and rode in the direction of the courtyard. By the time we arrived at the courtyard, it was already dark. Lu Xiaoyi put the car and rushed to the courtyard. Arrived at the huge courtyard. But a question came to mind. I don't know where he lives, so let's ask somebody. As soon as she looked up, she happened to see Qin Huiru, who was waiting for Jia Dongxiu to go home at the door. Qin Huiru also saw Lu Xiaoyi. Stunned. I saw Lu Xiaoyi coming quickly, with a smile on her face. It's you, we met in the morning, is your child okay? Excuse me, can you take me to find Zhou Jingming in your courtyard? Qin Huiru's face sank, and in the twilight, he couldn't see his expression clearly. Lu Xiaoyi didn't notice her look. She also casually greeted out of concern. Didn't know that her unintentional sentence made Qin Huiru's heart turbulent. What does she mean? Why are you asking this? Are you deliberately mocking me? Isn't it just a matter of being born? What is there to be proud of? If I were born into such a family, I would be better than her. What do you say about Miss Saga? It's a big night, but I came to find a single man, and I rushed to deliver it. Qin Huiru thought of this, and kept looking at the cashmere pants and shoes that Lu Xiaoyi was wearing. These things, she thought about countless times. But I can't afford to wear it at all. It is impossible for Jia Zhang and Jia Dongxiu to buy it for her. But these clothes she had been looking forward to for a long time were worn on Lu Xiaoyi like this, and they were regarded as ordinary by the other party. There were even mud spots on the clothes that were splashed with mud because they were riding too fast. The more Qin Huiru looked at it, the more it was not a taste. The more I looked, the more jealous I felt. What are you proud of? Even if you are the eldest lady and fall into the sludge, you are not much better than me. Thinking of this, Qin Huiru showed a bright smile. Reached out and grabbed Lu Xiaoyi's hand affectionately. I'm very familiar with him, so I'll take you to him. As he spoke, he pulled Lu Xiaoyi and walked towards Su Damao's yard. Where did Lu Xiaoyi think that the woman who had only seen one side would have such a vicious mind that she wanted to push her into the abyss? I thought Qin Huiru was warm-hearted. Thank you so much, I'll come over tomorrow and bring you a box of toffee. Lu Xiaoyi thought that she had a child at home, and toffee was the child's favorite food. Really, toffee is such a good thing, sweet. It's just that toffee is very expensive, won't it be too expensive? It's nothing, my family is not short of toffee to eat, if you really like it, I'll bring you a few more boxes. Really? Thank you then. Qin Huiru pointed to Su Damao's house. That's Jingming's house, you go find him. He said. I'm going to wait for my husband to come home, so I won't go with you. Lu Xiaoyi thanked again and again. Thanks, you've done me a great favor, go get helped. After speaking, Lu Xiaoyi walked towards Su Damao's house. When I got to the door, I sorted out my messy hair and clothes, and then there was a knock on the door. Jingming, open the door, it's me. Qin Huiru hid aside, witnessed this scene, the corners of his mouth hooked into a smile, and left satisfied. Su Damao. Su Damao, I have brought you great benefits, cherish it. Wait for Qin Huiru to leave. He Yushui pushed the bicycle out of the corner. His eyes glanced at Qin Huiru coldly. I looked at Su Damao's house again. In Su Damao's house, an exclamation sounded. Then there was the sound of tables and chairs toppling over. But the exclamations were gone. Her face changed slightly, but she didn't directly enter Su Damao's courtyard. Instead, he rode to Zhou Jingming's courtyard. I happened to see Zhou Jingming, who was so irritable, that he came out for a walk. Zhou Jingming. She hurriedly shouted. Just now I saw a beautiful woman looking for you, but for some reason, she was taken to Su Damao's house by Sister Qin. You. Let's go check it out. Zhou Jingming listened to it, as if he was struck by lightning. I finally understand where the anxiety comes from. He didn't stop for half a second, and he didn't care about thanking He Yushui, so he rushed to Su Damao's courtyard as fast as he could. Sure enough, I heard the sound of fighting and struggling inside. His blood surged, and he kicked the door down. Bang! The loud noise startled Su Damao, who was covering Lu Xiaoyi's mouth and dragging her into the house. When he saw Zhou Jingming, he was stunned, and the hand holding Lu Xiaoyi was loosened. Lu Xiaoyi turned around and kicked him in the crotch hard. With tears in his eyes, he rushed to Zhou Jingming, who came like a god in amazement. Jingming. She threw herself into Zhou Jingming's arms, tears falling down her eyes. Jingming. You're coming. It's good that you're here. Lu Xiaoyi was shocked, almost she was finished, and she completely fell into the abyss of invincibility. Zhou Jingming came at the right time. If it was a little later, it would be a little later. She couldn't imagine what would happen in the future. Don't be afraid, I'm coming. Zhou Jingming touched Lu Xiaoyi's hair and comforted. Found that Lu Xiaoyi was just a little messy of clothes, so she made up her mind. Looked at Su Damao, and he already had killing intent. Su Damao, you are looking for death. He covered Lu Xiaoyi's eyes. Close your eyes, cover your ears, and then whatever happens, don't look and don't listen. After saying that, an arrow rushed over. A punch slammed into Su Damao's face. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 47. Bang. Zhou Jingming made a move with hatred, and with a punch, Su Damao's face immediately tilted to the side. Poof, he spat out 2 molars. Another punch, click, the sound of a broken sternum sounded. 2 punches, Su Damao's half-life is gone. Seeing that Zhou Jingming is still going to fight, Su Damao was so frightened that the two trembled. Zhou Jingming's eyes frightened him even more. That's the look that was going to kill him. Cold, ruthless, like looking at a piece of garbage that must be eradicated. The little bit of lust that he had raised had been completely shattered. Where is there any charming thinking at this moment? I just beg Zhou Jingming not to beat him to death. He knelt down with a puff. Weak. Zhou Jingming, I don't dare anymore, I can't. Anymore, don't dare, spare me, spare me. Zhou Jingming didn't say a word, and went up with a kick. This kick is heavy, 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 and kicks Su Damao's internal organs to vomit out. The way he looked at Zhou Jingming's eyes was no different from seeing the living Hades. In the air, a fishy smell spread. Su Damao's feet were covered with scorched yellow water. He was scared to pee by Zhou Jingming. Zhou Jingming picked up a chair and walked towards Su Damao, and was about to slam his head down. Su Damao was so frightened that his heart and gall were broken. He covered his head with both hands. Jingming! Lu Xiaoyi exclaimed, pounced like a swallow, grabbed Zhou Jingming's hand, and prayed. Jingming, that's enough, don't fight anymore, you'll beat him to death. Zhou Jingming, who was in a rage, was stunned. Glanced at the small hand that grabbed his big hand. These little hands, fair, tender, slender, seemed to be able to be broken at once. But he couldn't bear it and didn't move. Look at the little face with rain in front of you. Although there is a panic, but more of it, it is worried about him. Reason returns. He was covered in a cold sweat. If Lu Xiaoyi hadn't stopped him, he would have really beaten Su Damao to death. This is the crime of homicide, and in this era, the crime of murder is committed, but it is necessary to pay for it with life. Even if he has a system. There are 2 longevity pills in the system, give him a few shots, he has to explain. Bitter loss. Lu Xiaoyi grabbed him. Thanks. Thanks. But the killing intent did not go. Zhou Jingming looked coldly at Su Damao on the ground. Su Damao touched his stomach and screamed, noticed Zhou Jingming's eyes, and shivered fiercely. He was really scared, completely scared. He never expected that Zhou Jingming, who was usually silent, would be. It's so terrible. He usually fights with stupid pillars. But the stupid pillar beat him, and the pain will be painful, and he won't kill him. Zhou Jingming will kill him. Zhou Jingming. Brother Zhou. I don't blame it, I really don't blame me, I don't know, Xiaoyi. Why did Miss Lu come to my door? I was confused, and I was confused for a while, and I was wrong. I was wrong. In the future, if you lend me 10 guts, I won't dare to. Ouch. I don't dare to touch Miss Lu anymore. There's a lot of movement here. Immediately, all the people in Su Damao's courtyard came out. When someone with good deeds saw this, he immediately ran to tell the 3 masters. Soon, the first uncle, the second uncle, and the third master gathered. Jingming. Lu Xiaoyi took Zhou Jingming's hand a little nervously. She was worried about Zhou Jingming. Zhou Jingming beat Su Damao like that, this matter can be small or big. To put it mildly, he is standing out for her. To put it mildly, he's just waiting for an opportunity to hurt people. She was also worried about herself, and when this matter spread, Her reputation was more or less unpleasant. It's fine. Zhou Jingming patted Lu Xiaoyi's hand soothingly, signaling her to feel at ease. Lu Xiaoyi was really relieved. It seems that Zhou Jingming is here, even if the sky falls, she is not afraid. Realizing that Zhou Jingming had been holding her hand, she was shy, sweet, and nervous. The three uncles saw the situation in front of them. The door that was kicked away, Su Daimao, who fell to the ground and chirped, spit out a mouthful of blood from time to time. Zhou Jingming, who was holding Lu Xiaoyi's hand tightly. The first uncle and the second uncle cautiously did not open their mouths. Lu Xiaoyi's identity is too special, her father participated in the rolling mill, and they all know about it. One of them is Yi Zonghai, who is thoughtful and deep, and will not easily express his stance to find trouble for himself. One is an out-and-out official fan. Naturally, he will not offend Lu Xiaoyi. There are only three masters, who are a teacher, and usually love to be a nerd. Love to be in the limelight. First open the cavity. Yo, what's going on in this realm? Su Daimao, what's the situation with you? Who did you call? Tell me quickly, the three masters will support you. Su Daimao's face was bitter. What do he want? If you don't get killed, you're lucky. He is very scared now. It is a shame that he didn't tell Lu Xiaoyi what to do, if he really didn't do anything. I'm afraid he will really be beaten to death by the angry Zhou Jingming. At that time, even if you get thousands of family wealth, it will be useless. He didn't dare to look at Zhou Jingming, humming and chirping. Three masters, no, it's nothing, I was knocked on the door. Su Daimao is now speaking leaky. The smell of urine in the room made him very embarrassed. The third master, Yan Bagui, immediately smiled. Su Daimao, you lie to a fool, knock on the door, can you knock out your teeth? Even if you knock out your teeth, you can still knock the door off. Ouch, why are you peeing? Joe boy and this girl, why did they appear in your house? Yan Bagui is a person, usually relying on his identity as a teacher, and he is the most nosy. Now when you encounter such a hot thing, you must take care of it. Su Daimao was painful and ashamed, and hated the second uncle for being merciless. But this matter, to put it mildly, is all wrong with him, and when he investigates deeply, he will be sent to the police station for hooliganism. Three masters. Don't ask. Hiss. Jingming he. It's seeing that I've lost a tooth and wants to help me. Hiss. At this time, Uncle Yi spoke. Su Daimao, don't be afraid, what is the truth, just say it, and uncle will make the decision for you. I can't let you be beaten for nothing. Did Xiao Zhou beat you like this? When the uncle spoke, the spearhead was pointed at Zhou Jingming. He was well aware that by saying so, there was a good chance that he would undermine the moral benchmark he had been erecting. The image of integrity and majesty. But he had to do it. This is a good opportunity, and if you use it properly, you can send Zhou Jingming in. He had an intuition, if he didn't do Zhou Jingming, it will be the biggest obstacle to his plans in the future. Zhou Jingming spoke. Furtat. Uncle Yi, haven't you heard Su Daimao's words all the time? He knocked out his tooth and crashed the door, and Xiao Yi and I, as neighbors, carried forward the spirit of friendship and wanted to take him to the hospital. Isn't it, Su Daimao? Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 48. Su Daimao nodded like pounding garlic. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, but you don't have to go to the hospital, just take me to the health center and get. Uncle Yi said justly. Daimao, you don't have to worry, you don't have to worry, If you really want to be beaten, I, the second master, the third master, and the people of our whole hospital will support you. Do not allow the wicked to continue their wickedness. I'm going to call Director Zhang to administer justice. There is something to say in the words of the uncle. The second uncle and the third uncle who were named by name looked like they were constipated. The second uncle muttered to himself. Okay, you're Yi Zonghai, all the good people let you do it. He said. Although I hate this kid, I can't clean him up when I can't do it. Why offend the shareholder's daughter? As for the three masters, they usually like to take advantage of a small advantage or something, but when it comes to this kind of beating, it's still so troublesome. He wants to hide away. But as soon as the uncle named him, the big guys were standing next to him, and if they showed their attitude, they didn't care. It's hard to say when you look back. If there is something to do in the future, who will look for them? Yes, yes. De Mao, if you have any grievances, just say. Su Damao is about to cry, he has a grievance of wool. He was fascinated for a while, did this fucking thing, and was beaten half to death by Zhou Jingming. It was he who found it himself. This time, I was already frightened. People have also come to their senses, where do they dare to provoke Zhou Jingming, a bad star? As the saying goes, the horizontal is afraid of the ruthless is afraid of the stunned. And the stunned is afraid of dying. He is now afraid that Zhou Jingming and Lu Xiaoyi will trouble him. How dare you trouble them? I have to say that although Su Damao is a real villain, but he is also a villain who understands current affairs. One uncle, three masters, don't be here. He said. Where to go? I also said this, my teeth, that I knocked on my own. Hiss. It's none of the business. What, I knocked out my teeth? Do you have to blame someone else? Uncle Yi didn't want to stop there, so he had to send people to the bureau. De Mao, you and this girl have been on a blind date. Is it that Xiao Zhou has a grudge against you and retaliates? Uncle Yi said this. The second and third masters looked at him in unison. Today, Uncle Yi is aggressive, and it's completely different from usual. Doesn't this put people to death? Su Damao opened his mouth and stammered. Revenge. He did hold a grudge and wanted revenge. But now, he is completely scared by Zhou Jingming. Lu Xiaoyi, who was standing behind Zhou Jingming, became more and more uncomfortable the more she listened. What's the situation with this old man? Have a grudge against Jingming? Every sentence does not leave Jingming, do you have to splash dirty water on him? Lu Xiaoyi was already relatively upright. She was not born in this compound, so she is naturally not interested in the authority of the three masters. Immediately opened. You old man, you can't understand people, huh? People say they hit the door. He said. You're still chattering here, you have to knock the dung basin on Jingming's head. He said. You have a grudge against Jingming. Lu Xiaoyi's words made everyone in the onlookers react. Although Su Damao's situation is obviously beaten, it is obvious that people have been beaten. But people themselves don't want to be held accountable. Why don't you bite it? The people in the compound generally don't think much about the uncle. Uncle Yi is too heavy in the courtyard. He is an 8th level fitter in a rolling mill. Such a big factory of 10,000 people. How many grade 8 workers are there? In the courtyard, he is a decent person, and he values love and righteousness. An ant can't give birth, and he won't give up. If there is a contradiction, he can adjust it. It's not too much to say that you are respectful. So what he said, everyone was convinced. The few words he pointed at just now made everyone focus on Zhou Jingming. According to his guidance, everyone is thinking about whether Zhou Jingming threatened Su Damao or something. Su Damao didn't dare to tell the truth. That must be Su Damao's master. Now, they're reacting. Start thinking. Su Daimao was indeed beaten. But why didn't he dare to say that he was beaten? It must be because of the loss. Su Daimao, everyone lives in the same courtyard, and they know more or less about it. This man is not a good bird. The wind review in the factory is not good. But they all live in the same courtyard, and they usually don't look up and look down. There is no big friction, so naturally it won't make him unable to get off the stage. If he does a mess and gets beaten up by Fat, I admit it. That uncle's posture is really a bit of a suspicion of a dog meddling with a mouse. Uncle Yi does mean something about Jingming. I thought, Jingming has a lot of respect for Uncle Yi, how could he do this? This sentence is to send Jingming to the bureau. Alas, do you think Uncle Yi will be? Because of the stick terrier in the morning. That can't be put on, an uncle and a stick terrier are not related. What's not apparent? Oh, the stick terrier was splashed with feces, you change that geopose, that's still a person's mother, can you go up? And he went up. Uncle Yi's face changed several times. Seeing that everyone is going to shift the topic to the stick terrier, he coughed twice and laughed. I'm also watching De Mao B. It's a bit serious, but it's messy to care. I misunderstood Jingming's. Since De Mao said it, let's send him to the hospital first. Look at the wounded. Uncle Yi was relieved, and Su Daimao breathed a sigh of relief. As if begging for mercy, he looked at Zhou Jingming's words. Zhou Jingming didn't say a word, and grabbed Lu Xiaoyi's hand. This matter, he definitely can't be counted like this. But Su Daimao, he also beat him, and he will be beaten a few times in the future. However, he can't be let go of. He must be made to pay. But not now. It's so special now. Rip it off again. Lu Xiaoyi entered Su Daimao's courtyard. But I can't hold it. Although Su Daimao did not succeed, Lu Xiaoyi was framed by Qin Huiru. But these days, no matter what reason you have, a woman, alone in a man's room, that can be broken by those who have broken mouths, and spread rumors. By then, all versions will come out. Especially Lu Xiaoyi's identity, and she is a rich lady, which can stir up some people's nerves. Stigmatize her, demonize. Therefore, this matter is gently revealed, which is the best for Lu Xiaoyi. Lu Xiaoyi also breathed a sigh of relief, and looked at Zhou Jingming. Just when everyone thought this was the end of the matter, Qin Huiru appeared. She pointed at Lu Xiaoyi and said loudly, "Hey, why are you holding hands with Jingming? Didn't you enter De Mao's house just now?" Just such a sentence, Lu Xiaoyi trembled. Her anger came up immediately. Obviously, it was this woman who led her to Su Daimao's house. Now I ran over and took a hard bite. How could she be so bad? Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Siheyuan, God Level Purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 49. Qin Huiru's words successfully diverted everyone's attention. Stir up the fire of gossip among the people in the courtyard. What's the situation? The daughter of a capitalist who is well dressed and has a good temperament obviously held Zhou Jingming's hand, but entered Su Daimao's house. That's right. Didn't she go on a blind date with Su Daimao before? Okay, I actually peddle 2 boats. At this age, there are no entertainment activities, and there are not so many bottomless melons in later generations to eat until they vomit. The feelings of the people are considered simple, but the more this is the case, some things about men and women, peachy anecdotes, the more they can stir up nerves. Get them excited. This afterlife is completely uneventful, and it can nail people to the pillar of shame and not be able to get down. Qin Huiru knows too much about human nature. Just one sentence put Lu Xiaoyi in an embarrassing situation. Although Lu Xiaoyi is very smart, she has always lived under the protection of her parents. Even though he has a lot of business talent. But I haven't yet developed the ability to perceive people's hearts. It is far less terrifying than the abyss of Qin Huiru. I opened my mouth to explain. Why are you like this? It's obviously your. She was just about to shake out the matter that Qin Huiru had framed her just now. Zhou Jingming put his hand on her shoulder and hugged her into his arms. Lu Xiaoyi couldn't say anything. The whole person is like a prawn on fire, and his face is almost red. Zhou Jingming's bold move also pulled everyone's eyes to him. He is as straight as a green bamboo, and the whole person exudes a calm and unhurried temperament. Extraordinarily convincing. Lu Xiaoyi has suffered such a big grievance, she must not be counted. The initiator is this Qin Huiru. He is a man, and he can't do anything to Qin Huiru. But Lu Xiaoyi is a woman, this revenge, I have to ask her to avenge it. As for the future, how will he rectify this black-hearted woman, then see his means. He walked over without saying a word and grabbed Qin Huiru. Turned his head and said to Lu Xiaoyi. This woman is spewing blood, hit. Lu Xiaoyi, just because of Qin Huiru, almost took a lifetime. How can you not hate in your heart? Although she is kind to people every day. But this matter is about her reputation and future. She had already accumulated a breath in her heart, and she no longer hesitated. When he went up, he opened his bow left and right, and slapped Qin Huiru more than a dozen times. It was so beaten that her hair was scattered, and her face was swollen like a steamed bun. The process is too fast. It's so fast that everyone wants to stop it, but it's too late. Lu Xiaoyi smoothed her hand, and the depression in her heart also came out. And Qin Huiru was violently beaten in front of everyone, and he had a grudge for a long time. But she didn't fight back, but burst into tears. Crying. Have you seen it? This capitalist's daughter is bullying. She actually hit me in front of everyone. The emotions of everyone were mobilized by her. After all, they didn't figure out what was going on in this matter. Qin Huiru is in this courtyard, and he is an acquaintance. Was beaten by Lu Xiaoyi. How could there be no one who was not angry? What a guts, you dare to sprinkle in our courtyard. How dare she hit someone? Give her some color. Let her apologize to Huiru. Lu Xiaoyi was a little scared and leaned behind Zhou Jingming. Zhou Jingming tried his best to protect her. The whole person, like a wall, exudes great momentum. He speaks unhurriedly, steadily, and forcefully. To tell you the truth, I have already met Xiaoyi's parents this morning. He said. My father-in-law and mother-in-law have agreed to our marriage. He said. Today's contract with Merlin Cannery was completed by my father-in-law. I believe that it will not be long before everyone will be able to eat our candy. Xiaoyi, you will be a person in our courtyard in the future. She is an innocent girl, and she has been slandered like this one after another. Would you like it to be you? Zhou Jingming's words are undoubtedly a bombshell. Stunned the whole courtyard. That for the envious and jealous. Who would have thought that Zhou Jingming, an orphan with no father and no mother, who is usually silent, would be able to climb such a high parent? That's lucky. The Lu family is a well-known capitalist in Siju City. The one who has a lot of money, the car is loaded on. It's dramatically ridiculous. Originally, Su Daimao and Lu Xiaoyi were able to go on a blind date, but they were already shocked enough. Su Daimao's blind date failed, that was the most normal result. Su Daimao's conditions are much better than Zhou Jingming. But everyone still thinks it's incredible. Now Zhou Jingming admits in public that he not only succeeded in his blind date with Lu Xiaoyi, but also reached the level of getting married. I felt that it was impossible. However, it is a fact that Zhou Jingming went to Lu's house with 2 bags of things this morning. Subsequently, Zhou Jingming completed a long-term acquisition contract of 2,000 yuan, which is also a fact. If there is no Lu family behind it, he is a first-level acquirer who has no relationship and no channels. Can you do this? Thinking about the past few days, Zhou Jingming's food has suddenly improved. The food and clothing are beyond their reach. Being able to do this proves that what he said is true. For a while, the people in the courtyard, especially the men, were envious and jealous, and their tones were so sour. Okay, Jingming, congratulations, climb this good family business. In the future, Brother Zhou will be developed, don't forget us. Tisk, in our courtyard, a cold flew out. Jingming, you are the most capable person in our courtyard. Everyone was stunned by this bombshell. Who cares if Qin Huiru is beaten or not? Qin Huiru was so angry that he smoked. Lu Xiaoyi blushed so much that she couldn't do it. Where are you going to propose marriage this morning? Knew in his heart that he was relieving her and avoiding her from being the after-dinner conversation of this group of boring people. Preserve her reputation. But I'm still happy in my heart, it's like eating honey. There's also a fawn bouncing around. I couldn't help but look at the side face of the man next to me, and the more I looked, the more obsessed I became. How could I, Lu Xiaoyi, be so lucky to meet such a peerless good man? Her heart was filled with immense, abundant joy. So much so that the anger and displeasure caused by Qin Huiru's attack were squeezed out of the clouds, and they could no longer be found. Qin Huiru looked at the scene of this Lang's concubine's intention. In his heart, increasing chest tightness and shortness of breath. I hate it. She thought that if she encountered this kind of thing, would the person in her family defend her like this? No, it won't, absolutely not. Her one not only does not have this ability, nor does she have this brain, nor does she have this courage. What he is more likely to do is to slap her and beat her up without asking. Jealousy fire, blazing. Poisonous heart, constantly spreading. Was slapped in the face by Lu Xiaoyi, and it hurt even more. At this time, I didn't forget to make it bad. Jingming, you got married, sister congratulates you. However, you are young and don't understand some women, show one thing, and then set the back. Sister just doesn't understand, I apologize for you, since she married you, why did she go to Su Damao's house? The sky and fire blindly. Sister didn't mean anything else, I just wanted to ask to understand. Lu Xiaoyi glared angrily. You can really turn black and white upside down. Obviously you framed me. Lu Xiaoyi didn't speak, she wasn't stupid, she came down twice, she understood it. For some reason, this woman wants to put her to death. Her heart was cold, and it was the first time she had faced such a vicious human nature. If it weren't for Jingming's protection just now, she would be excited and tell the story. Even if she said the truth, people would not blame Qin Huiru for tricking her to Su Damao's house. I will only pay attention to what she went to that house to do and what happened to her. How ruthless. This kind of person, sure enough, the beating is still light. Zhou Jingming is still faint, unhurried, and as steady as Mount Tai. Su Damao owes me 1,000 yuan, I sent Xiaoyi to ask for it first, I closed the door, and I came with her. Qin Huiru. Everyone, ah. HH. Su Damao, ah. HHH. Everyone, Su Damao owes you 1,000 yuan. Okay. In these years, 10 yuan is a big ticket. This 1,000 yuan, how much does it get? Qin Huiru was unrelenting and entangled. Jingming, it's not that my sister looks down on you, you're just a level 1 acquirer, with a monthly salary of 18 yuan, it's enough for you to live alone, but you don't have so much money to spare. Zhou Jingming's situation, everyone knows the roots. Said that Su Daimao owed him 1,000 yuan, everyone didn't believe it. Isn't this a lie? Lu Xiaoyi also didn't understand how the wise and intelligent Zhou Jingming could tell such a clumsy lie. Zhou Jingming was an old god, calm, and gently patted Lu Xiaoyi on the shoulder. I naturally. There is no such money. But Su Daimao borrowed it from Xiaoyi, and he borrowed it from her, didn't he borrow it from me? Lu Xiaoyi understood, and almost laughed, but she couldn't help it and cooperated with Zhou Jingming perfectly. Yes, I have money. My money is his money. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 50. The two of them were tired of being in public, but they stimulated everyone a lot. That's what people want to beat. That's a stinking fart. They're jealous. This year, it is to get married, and the highest configuration is also 3 turns and 1 ring. 3 turns are bicycles, watches, sewing machines, and 1 ring is a radio. Generally, the sewing machine is 170 yuan, the bicycle is 175 yuan, the watch is 120 yuan. And the radio is 120 yuan, which is about 600 yuan in total. Just 600 is an astronomical amount for farmers. Even the average workers in their rolling mills, with an average salary of 1 or 20 yuan, have to save for 30 months without eating or drinking. If you have to take care of the expenses of a large family, then you don't know how to save until the year of the monkey. Even if it is more luxurious, add pots and pans, and change beds, tables, chairs, and stools, but add 100 yuan to get it. If you are not so particular, add a few quilts at wool, add some towels, rice bowls, and other things. I got married. But the two of them haven't gotten married yet, and the 1,000 yuan that Lu Xiaoyi lent to Su Daimao will become Zhou Jingming's. Who can not be envious and jealous? The third master, Yan Bagui, grinned in shock. Good boy, 1,000 yuan. How long do I have to save? Yan Bagui is a famous chicken thief, who loves to calculate, take advantage, and beat thieves with small abacus. He has been teaching for so many years, plus fishing, so that his wife can pick up some work, and it took a lot of effort to save a bicycle. Zhou Jingming's side, he got 1,000 yuan without much effort. Envy, I really envy my teeth and flowers. The second uncle was also shocked. No, De Mao, how can you borrow so much money? The whole yard, except for the uncle, is also Su Daimao rich. Not to mention his monthly salary of 44, even if he goes to the countryside every month to screen, he can make a lot of money. It's nearly 100 yuan in January, why does he want to borrow such a big amount of money? Su Daimao lay on the ground and hummed, it hurt everywhere. My face hurts, my chest hurts. My stomach hurts. My heart hurts even more. How could he not know that Zhou Jingming did it on purpose? But can he say that there is no such thing? He can't. Not to mention that Zhou Jingming climbed the high branch of the Lu family, Lu's father is a shareholder of the rolling mill. It is also possible to give him the position of projectionist. Even if Father Lu disdains to deal with him as a little person, Zhou Jingming pulls his braids for him. A small fight in 3 days, a big fight in 2 days, he can't stand it. Uncle Yi waited for a long time, and finally waited for the end of the conversation. Ask Su Daimao, who was lying on the ground humming, again. De Mao, you borrowed 1,000 yuan from this girl, is it true? Su Daimao was so angry that he had a cerebral hemorrhage. Uncle I, my lord, don't get involved. If you keep asking, maybe Zhou Jingming will have to kill me a few more times. Aren't you adding to the chaos? Su Daimao was beaten, and now he is inexplicably bleeding a lot. He couldn't get out of the anger, so he blamed Uncle Yi and Qin Huiru for this. If it weren't for these two of them, would he be like this? Yes, yes. Yes, I borrowed. Don't ask, take me to the clinic first. Ouch. Uncle One, what did you do with this money? Su Daimao. He couldn't hold back any longer, spurted out a mouthful of blood, and spit out Yi Zonghai's face. He's going to cry. Really, he's going to cry. I've never been so wronged. What did he borrow this money for? How the hell did he know what he was borrowing this money for? I went shopping in the flower street, looked for the girl, ate, drank. Uncle Yi, do you live by the sea, do you care so wide? Uncle Yi wiped his face, and under the blur of blood, his face became extremely terrifying. Su Daimao shouted twice, but he didn't dare to scream anymore. He was wronged. Uncle Yi didn't speak, and Qin Huiru attacked again. These two people are almost like an appointment. Sentence by sentence. The object of Qin Huiru's attack is still Lu Xiaoyi. She is like a poisonous snake, biting Lu Xiaoyi to death. Lu Xiaoyi has to fall into the mud for others to trample on and discuss. Jingming, I misunderstood. But after all, you are not married, and it is such a big night. To be honest, I'm a countryman, and before I married my family Dongxiu, I didn't even hold hands. Her subtext is: before the two of you got married, you started hugging, and even planned to spend the night here. What kind of lady is this? What kind of tutor is this? Zhou Jingming and Lu Xiaoyi were a little caught off guard. After all, this kind of thing, it's really not good. Just now, in order to protect Lu Xiaoyi's reputation, Zhou Jingming hugged her in public. The act itself is extremely bold. If you can't explain Lu Xiaoyi's coming over at night, that's really going to have a bad reputation. Just when the two were in a dilemma, Aunt Yi smiled and spoke kindly. Speaking of this, it's my wife's fault. I like Jingming's child in my heart, and when I saw him bring his daughter-in-law back, I couldn't help but pull him and the two of them to say a lot of things. People, when you get old, you don't have any concept of time. By the time my wife finishes speaking, it's already dark on this day. Ming, it's not early, send your daughter-in-law home, save yourself from being misunderstood by some ill-intentioned remarks. An aunt skillfully passed this matter. She is a lonely old woman, and there is no queen under her knees. When you meet a young man who is pleasing to the eye, what's wrong with talking a little more? It's not just nothing. On the contrary, he is kind, caring, and respectful of the elderly. Qin Huiru's whole face was so black that it couldn't be done. Who doesn't scold you? An uncle stared coldly at an aunt. Why didn't you say this earlier, causing unnecessary misunderstandings and hurting the neighborhood? You're confused. Aunt Yi smiled softly. Don't you clean up the big black fish that Jingming gave me, and forget about it. Jingming, this kid really has a heart, that big black fish, it's really delicious. No wonder you are so blessed. If you can get such a good daughter-in-law, you will definitely be able to give birth to a big fat boy in the future. An aunt has always been kind-hearted, and her kindness is different from the hypocrisy of an uncle. Uncle Yi is hypocritical. He usually always mentions slogans, except for helping Qin Huiru's family. He hasn't done a few specific things. But the kindness of an aunt is silent. Whoever is in difficulty, she is willing to help. Whoever is short of food and drink, she can also take some food to help. I met a child who has not eaten, is hungry and quacks, but the parents have not yet gotten off work. She can always take a white flour steamed bun and hand it over. She never thanked or preached. But everyone admits her affection. Uncle Yi has become a moral benchmark and is supported by the whole hospital, which has nothing to do with Aunt Yi. So everyone believed what she said. Uncle Yi was so angry that his chest tightened, and without saying a word, he turned around and left. The first uncle left, and the second uncle didn't stay, so he left immediately. The third master shouted, "Okay, it's all scattered, scattered, it's dark and cold, go home and hug your daughter-in-law and lie on the con." Zhou Jingming took Lu Xiaoye's hand and walked out, passing by Qin Huiru. Zhou Jingming said, "Good is rewarded with good, and evil is rewarded with evil. Aren't you afraid of retribution?" Qin Huiru was like an electric shock. Wanted to say something, Zhou Jingming had already taken Lu Xiaoye's hand and walked away. This book will be on the shelves in the early hours of tomorrow morning. 8 more chapters at that time. 6 more chapters will be updated during the day tomorrow. Readers, please subscribe. Thank you.